So while I got you there, Kirk, I want to ask you a question. Were you here the last study? Have you listened to the last study?
Yes.
Okay, now, in the last study, we actually defined by a Bible reference in Ezekiel 2 and 3 what the sweet in the mouth and bitter experience is. Do you remember what the sweet in the mouth was?
Well, I'm in Ezekiel. I know it in Daniel, the sweet message, but then the bitterness that of the experience of delivering that message and not getting the sweet response you hope for.
That's right. Yeah, that's in Ezekiel 3. In Ezekiel 3, this told to, 2 and 3, to eat the scroll is identical reference to Revelation 10. Eat the scroll, you will be sweet in the mouth. And it says, I want you to have my words in your mouth. Sweet in the mouth. But then whether they listen and whether they know, go and share it with the captives. Those that are captives. But they will see your face as a strong face, and the message will be rejected. And when he said in bitterness, he said Ezekiel. Okay. This is very, very important because we placed Revelation 10 and Revelation 11 with a book that has been unsealed because it's now open. And the only book sealed is the one in Revelation 5 that is being unsealed, written in both sides. Ezekiel 2 and 3 talks about a book that is written in both sides, and it has the same kind of, is almost extracted from Ezekiel 2 and 3. Book written in both sides, sweet and bitter experience, etc., etc., etc. So we get a biblical definition to define what the bitter experience is. Let's say this. I just go and I have a girlfriend, and I'm a teenage boy and I have a girlfriend, and the girlfriend leaves me, and I'm so severely disappointed. Then I look at Revelation 10 and I read about he will be bitter in the stomach, and I'm severely disappointed. So I thought, this is it. That's me. I'm extremely disappointed, and this is me. Can I do that, Kirk?
No.
Why not?
Because once again, instead of looking at the Bible, you're looking outside of the Bible, you're looking inside at your own experience. And you can't interpret the Bible that way.
They cannot interpret the Bible that way. Denise, you were smiling.
Yeah, it reminds me of that quote that made a huge impact on me from Ellen White, in which she says, the Bible is its own expositor.
That's right. The Bible is its own expositor. So when we put Revelation 10, Revelation 11 as a fulfillment, not as application, as a fulfillment in line of the book being unsealed, and the experience of bitterness as a fulfillment, with Ezekiel interpreting that experience for us, then we facing a dilemma. Because in 1844 was a tremendous disappointment. We thought the Lord was coming, but the Lord did not come. It was sweet in our experience, but when it didn't come, it became bitter. And we got Revelation 10 to point ourselves there. But I actually challenged you and everyone that is listening to find me Bible verses that link bitterness with the Lord is coming and he doesn't come. You need to find a Bible reference where bitterness is associated, when bitterness is associated with the hope of Christ coming, and then bitterness because he did not come. If you find that, then you have the second witness in the scripture that then qualifies you to look outside of the scripture into your own experience to see if it fits or not. But you need at least that second witness in the scriptures. But what you actually see in the scriptures consistently is that the bitterness of the experience is a rejection of the message, not a hope of the Lord's coming that didn't come on time. Jesus drank the bitter cup because his message was rejected. He went on to bitterness because the message is rejected. The message to the captives is rejected. And that is the experience of bitterness, consistent all through the scriptures. Never once in my study, that's why I challenge you to find it for me, but never once in my study I have actually seen bitterness from the point of view of I was expecting someone to come, that someone to come did not come.
Can I
or it was a bitter experience. Yes, Dane?
I wanted to interject something because I've been so convicted on this for like a couple decades. When I was 20, I came back to the church, and then I went around. Before I did, I went around and I talked to like different denominations, and I saw this. I saw this thing which I call egocentric interpretation, as in every church saw themselves as described in the Bible, and they were all wrong. Right? Whether they were all twisting the scriptures to say, oh, see, the Bible's talking about us, whether it was the Mormons, the Jehovah's Witness, the Church of God, all these things. And so we Adventists are really, like a lot of people really cling on to this idea that these verses are describing the Adventist church. And the danger that I observe is that there is this desperate determination to gain faith in our church, that our church is the true church, through that interpretation. And that is how a lot of Adventists have confidence that the Adventist church is the true church. Whereas, especially in the last 10 years through coming through this character of God message, I've realized why would we want to gain confidence in our church being the true church by trying to claim we're in the Bible, where instead we should be trying to gain confidence by understanding the truth. And as we get closer to understanding this character of God truth, I feel more confidence in the fact that we have the truth, not by trying to say, oh, look, see this passage, it's talking about us. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. And that is a little bit of where we need to sort of be careful. And it is concerning because as you said, it happens everywhere. I mean, David Koresh found himself in the Bible. He was the new branch, branching all in capital letters. And there's others that have been claiming to be the branch. I mean, I can have a Bible verse for myself, like I can find a very good character here or something like that, and I'll just, there you go, that's my verse. And I just start wearing camel's hair as a dress code, and I start eating grasshoppers. So who am I? I'm John the Baptist reincarnated, if you will, and I'm Elijah reincarnated. How do you say that of yourself? But very simple, it's all here. John the Baptist, dressed in camel's hair, eating honey with grasshoppers. That's me. It is very clear. I don't understand why you cannot see it. It is very obvious. I just need to grow my beard a little bit longer and my hair a little bit longer and put some dreadlocks on it. We cannot do that. I'm going to give you an example that might shock you. Okay, and we don't need to do that, because then we have a problem. Can you please come with me to Revelation 19? Revelation 19. And we'll like Paul. Paul, would you be able to read for me verse 10. Revelation 19, verse 10.
And I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, see that you do not do that. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren who have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God, for the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy.
Okay, so the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. Now, with the same rule of interpretation, what do we need to do? We need to go into the scriptures to figure out what it means, the testimony of Jesus and the spirit of prophecy. So, there's two lines of thought here. If I mention the word spirit of prophecy, some of you might be thinking of a whole bundle of writings, okay, that were written since 1844 to 1915. A whole, and then they were compiled into different editions, even in 1950, 58, etc., etc., etc. Different compiles, devotional times, and so on. You're considering that as the spirit of prophecy. So then we go, you see, we've got the spirit of prophecy, which is this bundle of things, and is biblical. We are listed in the scriptures because there you go, that's the verse. But we can't do that. We need to find in the scriptures a second witness of what the spirit of prophecy means.